Welcome to this special edition of the Chiefs. With me right now are Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5, and Ed Lingao, of course, of News
Oh,
5 and of One News.
Good evening.
Hello, welcome.
Friday night.
happy weekend.
Friday.
Alright.
Of course, Ami. Of course, we have to start with this. We're heading into the weekend with big news. The president has signed now the anti-terror bill, or we should now say the anti-terror act.
Anti-terror Act. Yes.
Mm,
In its entirety. Walang
mm,
pagbabago. Not a single provision vetoed. So yung 24-day detention without charges, tuloy yun. Saka yung
mm.
anti-terror financing, yon kasama yon.
And yung anti-terror council,
And the
the one
anti-terror
that
council. Yes. Yun,
which
kasama
will be
yun.
very powerful. Critics are saying that a lot of their concerns also turn on the power of the ATC. Basically, I mean, they keep saying the police, hindi man namin pwedeng gawin basta-basta. But the Anti-Terror Council really gives a lot of impetus and has a lot of power to lead the state enforcers in that direction.
Yes.
Curiously, we interviewed the NSA, National Security Advisor Esperon, I think just about last week. And we asked him about that, the ATC's power to designate a group or a person as a terrorist. Sabi niya, that's a myth. It's really the power of prescription by the Court of Appeal, sabi niya ganon. So he was disputing that. But when you pointed out that no, there's Article 25, which specifically states that the ATC has
Designation.
the power to designate
Yeah.
and order arrests based only on probable cause. Sabi niya, but we won't use that.
Makikita natin sa application.
Nasa batas pero hindi namin gagawin. Promise. Yun yung basically.
Pero originally, wala daw.
Nandun naman yun sa existing. Ang difference lang nga raw is yung tagal ng detention. So, parang gano'n ang defense nila na parang napatunayan na nandun yun, pero hindi naman yun ginamit. Yun ang nila. So, parang
And I think the power to designate, as a terrorist group, maliban dun sa prescription by the Court of Appeals, nagka-power to designate na rin yung ATC.
Anyway, makikita natin yung application. Saka sigurado namang matcha-challenge yan before the Supreme Court.
Sigurado.
Okay, yeah. We're already seeing that. I mean, I'm talking to some lawyers, and they're already saying ready na, and they will not wait for a test case. They will challenge this at its face, challenge the law directly for its constitutionality. Make the argument that we do not need to wait for a test case or an actual victim to take this to the Supreme Court.
The question is whether it will go the way of the NSA also when it was challenged in the Supreme Court. So, yun ang abangan. Yeah.
Anyway, isa pang istoryang interesting na bukas weekend pwede ka na, Lucy, na pumunta sa salon at pagpapamanicure.
I know.
Mani, pwede.
Hindi lang yun. Hindi lang yun, Lucy. Kung magpapamani pwede ka sa salon, pwede ka na mag-jeep papunta doon.
Oo nga.
Meron na rin mga jeep pwede mo nang gamitin.
Teka, bakit ako lang? Namumuti na rin ang buhok ni Ed. Namumuti na rin ang buhok mo, Robbie.
Well, we age gracefully naman. Not to say that you don't. We're just saying that we do age gracefully.
Ay, bibigyan daw ng mga incentive yung mga ganyang negosyo, no? Pero nagkakaroon yata ng may mga contentious issues dyan. Baka daw magkaroon ng unfair competition sa pagbibigay ng steam negosyo. So siguro pwede na natin pasok yung ating
Oo, sabi yan namin I mean, speaking of unfair competition.
Ganda ng survey mo.
From anti-terror to anti-competition, no?
Because we did lead the introduction about, of course, we need to revive the economy. This is the first context here to this topic. Congress is tackling and proposing laws to help our businesses and the business climate. But there are some things being flagged about these proposals. And our guest for tonight is a Commissioner Johannes Bernabe of the Philippine Competition Commission. Good evening, Attorney Bernabe. Welcome to the Chiefs.
Good evening.
Thank you, Robbie. Yeah. Thank you,
Mm.
Robbie. Good evening, Ed, Lucy,
Hi,
and
sir.
Good evening.
Okay. Now, Commissioner, we'll just go ahead and lay the context here. Yung proposal sa Senate and the House, it is intended to revive the economy, to help businesses, help other businesses. Ando na yung context na yon. But because limited yung time natin, we wanted to go straight to the concerns of the Philippine Competition Commission. We know it just came out with a position paper on this. What exactly are your concerns about these proposals?
well, thank you, Robbie. With regard to the bill in the House of Representatives, which was passed on third reading, this is called the Arise Bill, no? You're correct. We all support the economic stimulus package contained herein, but apparently during the passage of the bill, during plenary session in second reading, there were additional provisions inserted, which basically weakens or takes away the power of the Philippine Competition Commission to exercise its mandate for a period of 6 months, extendable
Mm,
for another 6 months or a total of 1 year. So this
mm,
means that if there are price fixing cartels, for instance, for alcohol products, hygiene products, we cannot um, file a statement of objection or a charge sheet
mm,
against those who have committed such cartel behavior. Similarly, if there are mergers or acquisitions which take place within this 6 months to 12 months period, we cannot uh, proceed to issue a statement of concerns that is equivalent to a decision which would say recommend the blocking or the imposition of conditions or remedies to address competition concerns in these mergers or acquisitions. So some people are saying that the commission is being emasculated and it has been targeted by these
mm.
particular provisions which seek to limit the exercise of PCC's mandate for a year.
Hey, Commissioner, I mean, some people are saying emasculated. You used the word weaken. Yesterday, we were talking to Congressman Ron Salo. Is it an oversimplification to say that, look, let's call a spade a spade? This is essentially saying for 6 months, extendable to 1 year, it's effectively suspending the powers of the PCC. Is that an oversimplification?
I wouldn't say it's an oversimplification because
Mm,
some of the authors of the bill would say that, well, you know, the PCC can still conduct investigations into alleged cartel behavior or price fixing or abuse of dominant position in certain markets.
mm,
We can still conduct reviews of mergers. But the thing is, what good is an investigation? What good is a review if at the end of the day, you cannot come up with a charge sheet, a
mm,
complaint against these entities who are committing such cartel-like behavior or who may be engaging in
mm.
anti-competitive mergers.
Okay. I
So
mean,
Mm.
Commissioner,
essentially,
very
there's
quick,
no
very,
scope
very,
for us to
yeah,
decide.
very quickly lang. I mean, in layman's terms, what is it saying? Is it, in layman's terms, basically ba, tama pagkaintindi ko, it's basically saying, PCC, for the next 6 months, and maybe extendable to 1 year, tahimik muna kayo ha. I mean, kasi marami kailangan mag-merger, may marami kailangan salbahin, people with money may need to come in to take others that are either failing or need help. So, pwede ba tumahimik muna kayo? Ay, tama ba yung pagkakaintindi ko?
Tama naman yun, Robbie. Essentially, yun ang sinasabi. And ang argument nila is, meron nga mga firms na nag-fail and kailangan isalba. But they forget that in the Philippine Competition Act, there's such a thing as a failing firm defense. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Kung ikaw ay naghihingalo at hindi ka makakasurvive except through a merger or acquisition of your entity by a bigger firm, you are excused from prohibition by the law itself. Pangalawa, kung ang concern natin yung mga micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, if you look at the thresholds for notification and review, ano
Mm,
lamang ang talagang
mm,
tinitingnan ng PCC? Hindi naman yung maliliit eh, yung mga malalaki. And ang problema
mm,
kasi, once you allow these big mergers to happen, what will you do if the powers of the PCC are restored after a year? Will you be able
mm,
to tell them to decouple? Will you be able to tell them to unmerge? It's like unscrambling an egg, right?
Pero
You cannot force
Commissioner,
that to happen.
pero Commissioner, hindi ho ba merong mga na-exempt or ma-exempt dyan sa rights? Halimbawa, yung mga pinag-aaralan nyo na or yung nag-file na, hindi ba exempted yon? That's one, no? Number two, how long is the process of a merger and acquisition actually finished? I mean, does it take 3 months? Pwede bang gawin yun kaagad within the next 6 months ng mga, sabihin na natin, corporations with malicious intent?
Okay, that's those are very good points, Luchi, no? So, first point yung sa huli. If you recall, back in 2016, when the Philippine Competition Commission was newly formed, Smart and Globe hurried to acquire the assets of San Miguel in order that for purposes of consolidating their telco assets, they would not have to notify or have a full review of this acquisition of San Miguel's former telco assets. And they said that, you know, PCC was not yet equipped with its IRR, and therefore we could avail of an expedited review, which allows our transaction to be deemed approved. So nakita na natin in the past that entities can take advantage of a transition period in order to consummate deals. Tapos pangalawa yung sinasabi mo, Lucci, na there are certain transactions na notified na and therefore kailangan na namin i-review, no? But there's a provision in the Arise Bill which says that all those transactions which occurred 30 days before the community quarantine was imposed and all those which are entered into during the community quarantine period are exempted from notification and review. And then ganun din for a period of yun nga 6 months to 12 months. So basically we are giving a free pass to all these transactions if even if they will have long-term negative effects on the economy. Nangyari na to dati sa US, no, when they allowed mergers to happen dahil sabi nila this is our
Chance.
tactic or strategy to resuscitate or revive the economy. But they had to suffer pernicious effects on such mergers for a longer period of time because you cannot unscramble something which has been consummated already. Now,
Ang
some
yung,
people are saying that, sorry, let me just squeeze this in. No, some people or some advocates of the bill are saying that meron naman yung tinatawag na motu proprio review where the commission can undertake a merger review on its own initiative.
yes,
So, totoo yun, no? We can undertake that motu proprio review. But
yes,
if we are prevented under the proposed legislation to issue a statement of concerns, meaning yung statement of concern na nagsasabing may competition issues yan, therefore we have to probably issue a prohibition or conditions on the clearance of that transaction. Kung hindi kami pwedeng mag-issue ng statement of concerns na ganon, eh kahit na mag-review pa kami ng motu proprio, bali wala pa rin.
yes, yes, right. Did you bring this up during your dialogue with them when you had a chance to actually be heard? Was this even discussed?
No, Lucci, kasi when we were asked to provide comments on the Arise bill, wala itong mga last-minute insertions na to eh. We provided our comprehensive position paper on Arise with respect to the stimulus package. But itong mga restrictions on the exercise of PCC power, naisingit lamang ito during the plenary session, I think on second reading. So wala nang chance to offer comments or to interpolate on these proposed
Commissioner,
provisions.
if I may just, it's very curious. You have a former colleague, a former commissioner with the PCC who is now a member of the
Yes,
House of Representatives.
yes,
Congressman Stella Kimbo
yes,
is there. One would think that you would have a champion there. She's listed. I don't know by what order, but in the copy of the bill, it's her name immediately comes second as a principal author of the bill. Did Congressman Kimbo not know about this? Did she not tell you about this? You would think that this would be a personally special interest for her.
That's correct, Robbie. No, In fact, from the reports that have reached us, it would appear that it was Congresswoman Stella Kimbo who made these proposals to amend ARISE at the last minute during plenary. These proposals included these provisions which would restrict the exercise of PCC of its mandate. So it was, yes, curious for us. I know that Congressman Stella Kimbo is very intelligent and she must have her reasons for making this proposal. I am sure that there were other considerations, political or otherwise, that she had to take into account. I am sure that she must have done her best to protect PCC's interests, but at the end of the day, the output still results in an emasculation, as some people would term it, but definitely a weakening of the fabric for competition law in the forthcoming year if these provisions are adopted.
Commissioner, merong counterpart bill sa Senate for the stimulus and for helping distressed companies during the pandemic. Kumusta naman yung sitwasyon doon? Meron din bang mga last minute insertions that you are worried about? Because marami nagsasabi rin na yung mga defenders na, sabi nila kailangan daw na proteksyonan yung mga local companies and you know the arguments. Kumusta naman yung sitwasyon sa Senate?
Well, Senator Sonny Angara has asked for our comments early enough as chairman of the Committee on Finance. Dahil karamihan dito sa provisions relate naman sa economic stimulus package, no?
Yes.
And from what we see as what is probably percolating or evolving from the different drafts, there might be a provision there where Land Bank and DBP will create a special or super investment or holding company, which will be allowed to acquire or merge with other entities
Yes.
for a period of 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, and these acquisitions will be exempted from notification or review. Now, this is a little bit of a concern, no? Because the budget for these mergers and acquisitions of the special investment company is about 35 billion. So if you look at it in terms of maybe 10 transactions that will be entered into over the next 3 years, then you have potentially 10 transactions which ought to be reviewed and may not be subjected to that kind of competition scrutiny. The position paper we have submitted requests that, similar to the third telco selection process, where we were invited to provide comments on competition issues, so that the review itself or ensuring that competition disciplines are observed are front-loaded. They're taken on board in the terms of reference itself.
Okay.
Now, it depends on, of course, the Senate whether they will take on board our position and our proposal for this. Para naman, if in the end magkaroon ng competition issue, meron ng dambuhalang merger or acquisition na namangyari, hindi naman masabi that PCC was sleeping on its job. That we provided inputs lamang, hindi tinake on board. No? So we're hoping that this
siguro,
kind of
Commissioner,
amendment will be adopted. Yes, I'm
siguro,
sorry.
Commissioner, magre-resonate yung concern. You raised concern about several points in the bills of both the House and the Senate. Siguro magre-resonate kung malalaman ng mga tao kung ano impact nun sa consumer. Kung mababawasan ang competitive environment ng ating mga negosyo and people will take advantage of the pandemic to do this. Anong magiging impact nun sa consumer? Yung mga nanonood ngayon, anong relevance nun sa buhay namin? Nila?
Yes. Tayong lahat, Amy, no?
Yeah.
Halimbawa, dito na lang, kung itong power ng commission para maglabas ng statement of objections or charge sheet laban dun sa mga nagko-commit ng price fixing, let's say sa sabon, sa alcohol, face masks, yung mga yon, kahit nahabulin namin, hindi namin pwedeng idemanda. Baliwala yung investigasyon na gagawin natin. Sinong matutuwa sa ganong sitwasyon? Kung tayong mga consumer, wala tayong matakbuhan ngayon, kitang-kita natin na may nangyayaring price fixing. Sino yung nalulugi? Hindi ba tayo mga consumers? Ganon din pag hinayaan natin yung malalaking mergers or acquisitions. Paano ang mangyayari kung itong mga malalaki magre-resulta sa duopoly or monopoly na pwedeng sila lamang ang mag-set ng prices or ng kalidad at choices ng ating mga consumers. So, we, the consumers, will be the ones deprived of choice, of lower prices, and good quality products.
Now, Commissioner, maybe on the other side of that, balikan natin yung mga enterprises, no? The small and
Yeah.
medium scale especially, a lot need rescue, a lot need investors, a lot need capital. But let's be blunt about it. Marami magsisimatayan. A lot are already going belly up, or a lot are, but in that environment where everybody, all these small players are going to be dealing from a position of weakness. What is the worst case scenario that you can envision if the PCC cannot be allowed to be an intervener in that situation? Ano, I mean, given that situation, ano ba yung worst case scenario na nakikita nyo?
Gaya nung binanggit ko kanina, Robbie, no, wala namang impact sa micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises yung pag-exercise ng PCC ng merger review powers natin. Kasi yung merger review powers, sumisipa lang yan if you meet certain notification thresholds. Halimbawa, no, sa ngayon, the size of the assets of either of the parties has to be at least 6 billion pesos or their revenues has to be at least 6 billion pesos. Lampas-lampas yan sa what we would categorize as MSMEs. So hindi apektado ang MSMEs.
I
Ang
see.
tatamaan lang ang tatamaan lamang sa MSMEs kung yung mga MSMEs natin ay sila mismo ang nagkakartel or nagpra-price fix.
So
Yun,
would
wala
you,
tayong
let me be clear there.
Ako ang tanong ko nga, sir,
sige, go ahead.
ano ba yung mga critically impacted na malalaking negosyo na pag nag-merger and acquisition ng walang PCC monitoring or stops, no? Ano yung mga yon na nakaka-endanger for the long-term economic future or health of the country?
So halimbawa doon sa ating mga public services, no? Halimbawa sa water distribution services. What if magpatuloy itong mga acquisition which will result in certain entities having a dominant position in the market for water distribution? Gusto ba natin na iisa o dadalawa na lamang ang nagko-control ng ating mga water distribution? Palagay ko hindi. In the same way, ganun din for certain other public services. Hindi natin masasabi, no? Halimbawa, itong dalawang malaking telecoms ngayon, what if they acquire Converge as as a broadband supplier? Diba? So, it will kill off maverick competition. Nakita na natin ito in 2000 when Digitel, which owned at that time itong
Yes,
tawag nung,
Sun. Sun.
yes, that's right. Itong Sun Cellular. Ito sa Maverick player. If you remember, sila yung nag-introduce ng Only packages. Wala naman ng Smart at Globe na ng Only eh.
Yes.
Sun ang mayroong ganon because they're a Maverick player. They were trying to get customers and the way that they did that is by offering low prices to consumers. That is the kind of competitive environment that we will lose out on.
Commissioner, let me just be more explicit to one thing that you said. You're saying, actually, kung maliit ka na player and you have a small business, even medium scale, you don't have to worry about this limiting your options. Are you therefore saying that this, and you've called it an insertion, you've called it a last-minute insertion, you've suggested that as per your understanding, it was Congresswoman Kimbo, a former commissioner of the PCC, who put in this provision. Are you saying that Congressman Woman Kimbo's proposal will not affect small players and in fact is only relevant to big deals?
Okay, let me clarify, no? Dalawa kasi yung tinatamaan na mandato ng PCC dito eh. One is our power to charge entities which commit cartels or price fixing or abusive conduct of their market power. That's the first one. Okay. Yung first power na yon affects all entities, malaki man or maliit. Okay? Yung pangalawa na tinatamaan itong amendments na to sa ARISE is our power to conduct merger review effectively. Okay? Ito, ang sinasabi ko, yung merger review, if we look at the thresholds provided in the law, in our regulations, and insofar as the way we have implemented it, ang tatamaan lang naman ng merger review powers ng PCC, yung mga malalaki. Hindi ito makakaapekto sa mga MSMEs.
Oo.
Mm.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
Like, Commissioner, one last question. I mean, as we know, pumasa na to sa third reading. It will still have to go to the Senate. How confident are you that that your concerns will be addressed, particularly this particular provision, and will be heard and accepted and respected pagdating sa Senado?
Well, we're hoping that our representatives in the Senate, if they get wind of these amendments, which were put in the Arise bill, would have a similar reaction insofar as its possible long-term effects on competition. We may be
Hmm.
trying to fix short-term problems by trying to excuse or relieve PCC from the exercise of its mandate for a limited period of time. But the effects of this restriction on our powers will have long-term effects. Because
Yes.
as I said earlier, once a merger or an acquisition goes through, it is not as if you can tell those merging entities to unwind
Yes.
their transaction once the anti-competitive effects become manifest. So
Hmm.
again, we're hoping that our senators will have a longer term perspective when they craft the necessary provisions of the economic stimulus bills.
Hmm.
Okay.
Ako, I have one last. Can you find any reason at all for why they would even put a stop to, PCC's power to review burgeoning mergers and acquisitions in the next 6 months to 1 year? Is there any justification at all given the pandemic and whatever the needs are that they foresee they might need to address expediently? Can you find something there?
To be
I will
fair, to be
find
fair,
it.
Lucci, yes, to be fair, Lucci, there are reasons I can imagine why they would put in provisions like this. They want to restart the economy. They want firms to consolidate and become stronger to be able to withstand the effects of this
Okay.
community quarantine.
Yeah.
So, naturalmente, there will be firms in need of a white knight, someone
Yes.
who will
Yes.
come
Hmm.
in and say, I will infuse
Always.
capital,
Yes.
right? Okay. But the point is, the ones who are really suffering right now, if we look at the structure of the Philippine economy, 93% are MSMEs. So
Yes.
by definition, that 93%, which carries the Philippine economy, are not actually to be covered by
Yes.
PCC's merger review powers.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
essentially, we are protecting a very limited segment of the Philippine
Hmm.
economy
Right.
from the PCC's exercise of its powers. So I would not ascribe any malice on our legislators. I think they were well intentioned. It's just that I think they thought that the PCC's powers are too broad. I don't think they have a sufficient understanding of how the PCA works and how certain entities that they seek to protect are
Mhm.
actually inherently protected already under the
I-
PCA.
Yes. That's a good point. Very magnanimous.
Isa na
Hmm.
lang. Are there any champions of the views of the PCC in the House or the Senate? Meron ba kayong nagsusuporta sa inyo?
Well, we're hoping that certain senators who are familiar with competition law and disciplines, like Senator Win Gatchalian, Senator Sani Angara, Senator Frank Drilon, uh, those who were part of the previous Congress and the previous Senate, who were part of the enactment of this law and understand it, I think they would have some sympathy for what we are trying to say.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Commissioner Johannes Bernabe, maraming salamat po. And before we go to break, we do have to make mention, her name came up, but it was really in the context of her particular position as a former commissioner of the PCC and now a member and a principal author of this law, that of this proposal that we've talked about. We do just have to mention that we did reach out and we did invite Congresswoman Stella Kimbo to this show. Unfortunately, she did not respond. Please stay right there. The Chiefs will be right back.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Chiefs. We are now in the final stage of our conversation. And joining us are two members of the Mass Appeal Choir, Mr. Ding Dong Eduque, who is the choir head and one of the founders, and songwriter Miss Trina Bellarmide. Good evening,
Hi.
Miss Bellarmide.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Good
Good
evening.
evening pa.
Yes. Since 2015, you've been holding mass. You've been singing in
Ah,
twice a month, no? Every Sunday at the Lasal Green Hills, yung choir nyo. Pero ngayon, mga misa po
Actually,
online.
mas
Yes.
earlier pa than 2015. We're
Earlier.
already 17 years old sa
Okay.
sa Lasal.
Pero ngayon,
Green
how
Hills.
has the pandemic changed? Aside from, well, yun na nga, online na nga lahat ng misa ngayon. Although,
Oo
pababalikin
nga
na
eh.
daw, ha? Hindi, pababalikin na
Ang
daw.
hirap,
At
ang hirap.
capacity. Pero how was it been during the pandemic, during the quarantine?
Ay hindi kami makakanta sa simbahan. We miss it so much.
But you were singing online, di
Kaya
ba?
ganito na lang kami, kahit man lang virtually,
Yes.
nakakakanta naman kami sabay-sabay. Right, Trina?
Yeah, yung ang Mass Appeal, like all other choirs, syempre, wala kaming magawa kasi high risk ang transmission ng COVID for choirs. Kasi pag kumakanta ang mga tao tapos tabi-tabi, yung merong aspiration, yung merong breath involved, kanyan. So talagang it's out of the question for any choirs to sing together at this time. So ang ginagawa ng maraming mga choirs ngayon, yung tinatawag na mga virtual choir projects na actually ang nangyayari, parang kakanta ka na lang from your own house, tapos ire-record mo, at syempre, i-mix na lang ng whoever, tapos i-edit yung mga video. So the experience is totally different. It's not exactly choral singing, but it's the best that we can do for now.
Yes, and Trina, the reason we invited you here is because there is a special occasion. It's the 25th anniversary, Luchi. Tingnan natin kung natatandaan nyo to. But
Art.
it's the 25th
Siyempre naman,
anniversary of the Tell the World of His Love.
yes,
That was the song for Pope
yes.
John Paul II when he visited the Philippines in 1995. I was in grade school. Luchi was
Oh my
covering
God,
it.
really?
Invento
Ay,
niya.
ako rin.
Hindi,
Ako
invento.
rin.
No, but
In the
let's start
Nasa
with
prepa pa lang ako.
welcome
No,
another
but,
guest, si
but
Director Paulo D. Let's welcome him first. Good evening, Mr. D.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Ikaw?
Ayan, si Direk.
Si
okay,
Director.
Hi, Pao.
but let's get straight to this. Trina, people might not know. Everybody who's now saying, "Oh, alam ko yung song na yan." That's thanks to Trina. Trina composed that song.
Yeah.
That's
Baka
right.
naman pwede
I
sa
wrote it.
Very, very nice.
para maipaalala natin sa mga
Ako
nanonood.
na lang kakanta. Ako na lang.
Sige na. Sabayan mo.
Naalala mo pa?
Sabayan mo
Of
yung
course.
Sige
Let
na.
us tell
Ibang
the
mga
world of its love, the greatest love we'll ever know.
Yes,
Uy,
that's it.
yeah.
That's it.
Director, paano kayo nagpa-practice ngayon? Kasi virtual daw yung ano. Are you still practicing? Are you able to practice?
Nakakatawa. I've had ang dami-dami na pong shoots na nangyayari na kung work from home yung corporate, work from home din po kami. Yung maraming mga shoots na ngayon naman lahat tayo may cellphones na maganda na yung resolution. So minsan shoot ako ng mga videos, mga commercials na sila na rin sarili nag-shoot ng ano. And yun, lahat po work from home na po. Ganun na po yung new normal. Tapos ngayon, the industry is trying to get a safe way to get back to work daw po.
Okay. So,
Tapos yan ang
mako-cover
new
kayo nung
skill
ano?
ng mga singers ngayon. Bukod sa pagkanta, nagiging cameraman na rin kami, nagiging lighting director na rin kami. Lahat kailangan alam mo gawin. Kasi kakanta ka, i-video mo yung sarili mo, ipapadala mo yung file mo. Ayan. Tapos yung mga taong katulad ni Paolo, yung mga si Aji, yung aming taga-mix ng mga boses namin. So, iba talaga. So, this is a period of learning new skills. Everybody's learning new skills.
Okay, so it's the anniversary of the song. At the same time, this is obviously the kind of time where we need that kind of song to uplift our spirits. How are we marking the 25th anniversary of Tell the World of His Love?
Well, eto, naisip nung choir na maglabas ng bagong version ng Tell the World of His Love. And because, the message of the song is, it carries naman up to this time, no? But sabi nung mga choir mates ko, nag-suggest sila, baka pwede mong dagdagan ng isa pang verse kasi para mas maging relatable, di ba? Kasi ang Tell the World of His Love, as we know, people associated with a happy time in our history, yung pagdalaw ni Pope John Paul II, and then kahit noong 2015 nung dumalaw si Pope Francis, lahat tayo medyo maligaya yung ating mga experience noon. But now, we are undergoing, ang hirap ng mga panahon ngayon, lahat tayo nagsa-struggle, yung malalim ang kalungkutan sa mga tao. So, but our frontliners, sila tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pagtulong nila sa mga tao, and they are the ones who are able to bring the message of love, of God's love to everybody. So, this is really a tribute to our frontliners, yung mga volunteers, because they are able to bring that message of love to everybody, and hopefully lahat tayo ma-inspire din tayo to do the same thing. Kasi pag sa mga ganitong panahon, that's really the only way we can cope, is to help other people ourselves. And ayun, hopefully when we shine the light in the darkness that is all this chaos, hopefully that light bounces back also. And yun, sana maging, alam mo yun, para magkaroon ng momentum, at that's all we can really do right now. So this is tribute talaga to sa ating mga frontliners, at nagpapasalamat tayo sa kanilang lahat.
Sample tayo, sample. Sample tayo. Understand. Para hindi si Luchi yung version na nahuli natin narinig.
Flash memory, wag.
Sige. I think we have the video. Go ahead.
Okay.
Ang ganda.
Ganda.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
Oo.
Ding Dong and Direk, maybe you could give us an idea how hard was this to put together? Maybe on one side, on the offline side, just getting the logistics and talking to people, and then on the online side, how hard is it to stitch something like this together?
The
Uh,
brunt of the difficulty lies with the one who edited the whole thing. So, Paolo, ikaw nang sumagot nun.
So ayun, I was working with my wife, Kathy Azanza, no, who's the one who's actually part of the choir. So I'm kind of like the choir-in-law. So they asked me to help out on this, and then she and the whole choir, we're gonna call this like a crowdsourced or even like love sourced. No? So the people
Mm.
who wanted to share this message of love sent in photos, videos, and all these things. Tapos we put it together na in a nice way. Yung mga kids nagpadala ng mga photos, yung mga frontliners nagpadala ng mga videos. Tsaka yung mga mismong members of the choir also, meron din silang sariling mga activities that they were trying to get into, mga trying to help feed the frontliners and so on. All those documentation pinadala din po nila sa amin. And then we tried to put together and weave it together as a nice message of precisely that, the spirit of the 1995 uh, Tell the World of His Love is now present today, transformed into something maybe even more deep, no? Kasi it's the times of trouble that will be the greatest opportunity for us to show love to each other, I think, no?
Right. Right.
Well, in relation to that, Miss Trina, are you working on new songs inspired by the pandemic? Na-inspire ka ba to write more songs during this crisis?
well, I actually have not been writing that many songs, but pero ang inaasikaso ko ngayon is my catalog of songs. Speaking about, learning new skills, I have a YouTube channel and I'm also producing songs. I'm trying to put together songs and kasi ngayon ang online content sobrang mabenta, di ba? Parang every artist needs to sort of establish their online presence. So I am no different. I am like many other artists. So meron akong YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So naging plugging tuloy. But that's what I'm doing, and that's what many other artists are doing. Parang yung online presence namin, tinatry namin i-beef up. I will eventually also write songs, collaborate. So yung mga artists ngayon, ang daming ginagawa. They're trying to figure out how to perform together. Merong tinatawag na, maraming mga apps na de-develop, trying to discover kung kaya ba mag-synchronize ng performances live, kung mabilis ang internet mo. So, ang daming mga ganon. But in the meantime, singers in particular are trying to learn how to record themselves. Like Paolo said, minsan kahit telepono lang, maganda yung quality ng mic. And then, people who are like Aji Manalo who did the mixing of our track, siya naman yung naglatag ng audio na madugo rin, mahirap din gawin. But after natapos yun, pinasa namin kay Paolo yung audio track and he was the one who put things together. Yung conceptualization, our friends Mon and Popo and Thad, yung storya ng Tell the World of His Love from 1995 and then yung second half no, na hindi na natin nakita is about today, like the pandemic and the frontliners. Doon natin makikita yung new verse, so present day, yung message ng telling the world of His love through our good works. So doon nila makikita sa ano.
Yeah. Trina, the second part of the old version, no, the original version,
Right.
was our Lord, our Savior, our King, Emmanuel, Prince.
Wow, you know that too.
No, I'm reading it, to be fair. No, I'm reading it.
That's the Christmas version.
But I want to know how you change the lyrics to reflect the times precisely. And I guess honor the frontliners. How did it go? Kasi hindi na natin pakinggan, no? But
well, it's kind of highly. I just actually tried to think of the message na, yun nga, parang it's about bringing out. Parang I had to establish that ibang panahon ngayon. So I started with in times of trouble in these times na ano how does it go? So I had to think of ano yung current setting. So I had to put on my professional songwriter hat.
Right,
And it's very technical. There are 8 lines. the melody is already given. And then I had to make sure na papasok lahat ng words dun sa bawat melody because I didn't have time to teach the choir kasi hindi nga kami nagkikita-kita. So may pyesa na sila. So nag-isip na ako ng words na pasok every syllable. And then I had to, and para itali ko, kailangan sumunod smoothly to let us tell the world of His love. So I had to say, sabi ko yon, parang hopefully the hungry, the sick, and the poor be blessed day by day, and know the love of the Father through those who walk in His ways.
Okay. Now, Mr. Eduque, how hard
Yes.
was putting everything together? Given na social distancing tayo, how many places were there? Where people were in how many locations? And how did you do that? Gaya na nga sabi ni Trina, you had to teach everybody the song and so on. What were the difficulties as the head of the choir?
Well, what happened was Trina arranged the vocals already. So nasa pyesa. And then each one of us was forwarded the arrangement, the vocal arrangement. So we all had to learn it individually. And then after learning it, we all had to record and video ourselves singing our own parts. So that was the hard part, the learning by yourself. But you know what I found also difficult was technicals. The technicals was trying to capture the best sound possible because some of us don't have the best acoustics. So that was one of the technical things we had to consider.
Yes.
But just like what we're doing now,
Kasi kami,
with the help of technology.
I can imagine how difficult it must be because in broadcast, when we voice something, nakatalokbong pa kami sa kumot, no? Para hindi siya hollow. But I can't imagine how
we were told to pasok kayo sa loob ng cabinet. Tapos yung mga damit-damit doon, nakakatulong yon, mga ganyan style, no?
Oo. So did you do that? Did you have to do that also?
Hindi naman. Well, maybe some. I don't know. Not for me. But it was quite uncomfortable. Medyo mahirap talaga kasi medyo nakaka-conscious kasi sarili mo lang boses ang nadidinig at hindi mo nadidinig yung harmony ng iba.
Yes.
That's the difficult part. Kasi choral singing is really about listening to your choir mates and adjusting to it. If you can't hear anybody, you're kanya-kanya kayo, ang hirap pagsabay-sabay. Pati yung mga S's, yung mga hinga, mahirap isabay. So it is what it is. It's not perfect, but hopefully there's a lot of heart in it. Every singer tried to sing it.
Like Paulo, di ba? Paulo, it's supposed to be a choir and yet kita mo, everybody's disjointed, everybody's in their own little square box, hiwa-hiwalay. I mean, beyond stitching this together and synchronizing, as the final storyteller vetting this, you have to somehow create, you have to make people forget na hindi magkakasama tong mga to. I mean, what did you have to consider in stitching this together as a storyteller to make people still experience a choir when there is no choir?
Isn't that such a nice metaphor for what's happening nowadays, though? Na we're all in separate places and somehow we still have to put together as some sort of working society or working method, no? So yun, it's really that. It's trying to give each other clues or guides on how to make sure that we're thinking we're going along the same way. So parang someone created a guide, sent it to everyone else, tried to follow it, and then when they sent it over, again, there's another effort not to mix the voices, to mix the videos, sync them properly, adjust here, a little bit there. So yun yung din namin job as post na parang ayusin yung mga little errors as much as we can and try to give a cohesive feeling naman to everyone else. Try to maintain yung deliver properly the message of yung original song, the spirit of the song.
How many members does the choir have now at this point? Meron bang formal?
We're a little over 20, but only
Yes.
16? How many frames were there, Paulo? 16,
About
right?
17 or 18, yeah.
Oh, all right. In this video, we were about 16 to 18, I think we were, out of the 20 plus. Who were, yung iba kasi, mahina yung signal. Those are one of the things we had to contend with. Mahina ang signal sa ibang lugar. Yung iba hindi techie. I mean, you know, nagpapanik ba kapag it comes to things like this? So, yun, those are things that we had to contend with.
Yeah, mahabang process ang dinaanan nitong project na to. This actually started in April, like end of April. Originally nga, I wasn't on board. Last minute na lang din ako pumasok. Even Kathy, the soprano, who is married to Paolo, also came in a little late. And then the project evolved and evolved, and it is what it is now. We're so lucky, you know, si Paolo is an award-winning director, and that's also one of the reasons why the video is so good. Sabi namin, buti na lang pumasok si Paolo, and he's and Paolo is also a pilgrim. He also experienced World Youth Day in 1995. So merong siguro may special because the song is special to him. I think it showed in the way he treated the video. So that's a plus for us.
Now, in any case, the video is on.
Nakatulong din yung support ng ibang kaibigan namin na mas popular, more famous, like sina Mr. C, si Martin Rivera, si Gary Valenciano, si Lea Salonga. Can you imagine? They gave us the support. And all the more we were inspired to work at this. So
because
thanks to
telling the
them.
world of his love is not just yung mga when we say frontliners, it also means the volunteers, yung mga nagpapakain sa mga yung mga nagra-raise ng funds, everybody who is helping in any way through these hard times is telling the world of his love because merong nagbe-benefit from those effort, and that's when you feel God's presence even in these hard times. So yun, that's what this whole video, and that's the message of this song.
Okay, now in the meantime, if people, of course, want to see this video, they can just search for it, I guess, on YouTube and also on Facebook videos. Just search for it, tell the world of his love, lalabas po yung video na yan. You can watch it. By all means, please share the message of the song, share the spirit of the song as well.
And congratulations on your anniversary, Mr.
Thank you.
Mr. Dingdong.
Congratulations to Trina.
Yes.
Thank you. The song is really bigger than anybody kasi kaya siya naging ganun kalaki dahil sa mga tao na palaging nagsishare, yung mga tao na who have found it so special and made it special. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. So we're all blessed with a gift like that. So thank you for having us here.
Thank you, Ms. Trina Bellarmide, Mr. Dingdong Educa, and Mr. Paulo D. Thank you for joining the Chiefs.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that's a wrap for tonight. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. That will be all for this special edition of the Chiefs. We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.
I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5.
I'm Robbie Alampay, and we are One News.